For the most of my childhood, I grew up in Mississippi, and so one of my favorite outdoor places are the bottomland hardwood forests in the Mississippi Delta.
My favorite place actually in the entire world is a little bitty back bay on the lower Laguna Madre called Rattlesnake Bay.
Now, I most enjoy spending time in my canoe with my kids, and maybe fishing, maybe not, maybe just looking at the flowers or the birds.
I enjoy watching the river's mood change from season to season.
And I can just go out and walk that beach and enjoy the intersection of air and land and water. It creates for me a real sense of peace and centeredness.
Global warming. It threatens to forever change the land and waters hunters and anglers hold sacred.
Global warming became real for me when I was fishing my favorite smallmouth bass stream, the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania. The water was so warm, we didn't even want to be in the water.
We are ground zero for some of the effects of global warming, in particular sea level rise.
Climate change and global warming represent additional threats, additional stressors to the wildlife populations, the habitat, the plants and animals that call Iowa home.
When I grew up in New Hampshire in the 60s, you need snowshoes to get around in the wintertime. You could snowmobile anywhere. Ice fish pretty much from November through March, and now the ice is missing.
But these hunters and anglers will not sit idly by.
I'm here to talk to my elected officials and others in the Michigan constituency.
We just can't afford to wait any longer.
It's going to literally affect the economy of the state if global warming is allowed to continue.
From coast to coast, this is their story.
And I've been enjoying the outdoors and hunting and fishing my whole life.
I have actually been fishing since before I have conscious memory. My first life preserver was actually a Clorox bottle tied to my belt buckle.
I'm 26 years old, so I've been hunting and fishing for about 25 years.
Working in the garden with my mom, watching horses be born, just learning flying boxy bugs on the end of a thread.
They've come to Washington to exercise their rights for a better tomorrow, for their children, grandchildren, for wildlife, and for all Americans.
That's 4 major reasons why I'm interested. And they're Noah, Matthew, Elena, and Jack.
And somehow, my kids have it in their head that the best reward they can have for a good day at school is to get to go into the canoe down into the waterways behind our house with a trash bag and pick up garbage and clean up the canals.
On the table now is legislation that could help alter our planet's course for the better, if lawmakers choose to take a significant stand against global warming.
We can do this. We have the technology, we have the means to do it.
This 2% a year into a long-term trend for at least 40 years and produce an 80% reduction.
2% is not a huge amount to ask.
Fish and wildlife around the country and really around the world are already seeing the effects, so there is no time to lose. We have to act now.
They're not just asking for change from government and businesses. They've taken the mission to heart, to their families, and to their communities.
And I firmly believe that as time goes by, water, fresh water in particular, is going to become the new oil.
We've formed a group in McClellanville called the Kitchen Table Climate Study Group.
Do as much as we can from a food miles standpoint to eat locally.
These hunters and anglers are doing the hard work, the grassroots, on-the-ground hard work. They're fighting for the future of our planet, and they want you to join them.
As we walk from our air-conditioned houses to our air-conditioned cars and drive to our air-conditioned offices, wildlife and fish don't have that luxury.
I don't know who will stand up for wildlife if we don't do it. It could be nobody.
Contact your legislator, write your letter to the editor, speak out where you can.
This is the most critical issue of our times, and if we fail at this, then our children and our grandchildren will be able to ask with complete honesty, where were you? What were you thinking? Why didn't you do something? And we can't let that happen.